The news first broke quietly, almost too quietly for something this big, when a blurry fan-captured photo appeared online. At first, people couldn't even believe what they were looking at. It was a sleek, glossy, impossibly well-preserved vintage car rolling up to what seemed like a private driveway. But the real chaos started when someone zoomed in and spotted the person stepping out of the driver's seat. It wasn't just anyone. It was Lee Min-ho himself, wearing that casual black sweater he somehow makes look like runway fashion. At that very moment, the internet practically combusted. Fans reposted the image with captions like, "No way this is real. Lee Min-ho? A vintage car. For who? And someone tell me this is a new drama. Because let's be honest, you don't just casually show up with a rare vintage car unless you're planning to make someone's heart explode." And as it turns out, the person he intended to surprise was none other than Hye Kyo. Now, let's take a second for dramatic effect, because this is the part where the entire fandom lost their breath. Hye Kyo didn't just receive a bouquet, not jewelry, not a simple date night present, but a fully restored limited edition vintage masterpiece that collectors have been hunting for decades. This isn't a regular car, it's the kind people bid millions for, the type that has its own history, its own character, its own story. And Lee Min-ho chose it for her. Specifically, exclusively, intentionally for her. Lovely viewers, imagine this scene with me. Hye Kyo stepping outside her house after receiving a mysterious call asking her to come see something. She walks out, expecting maybe a package or a surprise dinner setup, only to find Lee Min-ho leaning casually against the hood of an immaculate vintage beauty. His eyes sparkling with that quiet mischief he's famous for. And then, without saying much, he simply hands her the keys. The silence in that moment must have been louder than fireworks. Sources close to the two shared that Hye Kyo was left completely speechless. She reportedly placed a hand over her chest while whispering, "Is this real?" Even staff members around them were tearing up, because everyone knew this wasn't just a flashy gift. This was personal. This was thoughtful. This was romantic in a way that felt cinematic. Lee Min-ho didn't pick a random car. He chose one tied to a memory she once talked about during a quiet conversation. How she had always admired a vintage model like this since she was young. And he remembered. But viewers, brace yourselves because the reactions didn't stop there. The moment Hye Kyo slipped into the driver's seat, she reportedly looked at Lee Min-ho with this mix of disbelief, affection, and sheer emotional overwhelm. Fans swear that the video someone recorded from afar captured her saying, "You're unbelievable." And honestly, that summed up what the entire world was thinking. Within minutes, social media became a battlefield of excitement. Some fans screamed their happiness, some cried, and some simply couldn't believe such an extravagant and meaningful gesture could be real. Comments poured in non-stop. Lee Min-ho is raising the bar too high for everyone. Someone check on Song Joong-ki. This is intense. How can they be this perfect? This is not a couple. This is a living, breathing fairy tale. And as if the universe wanted to make the story even sweeter, more details began to leak. Apparently, Lee Min-ho didn't just buy the car. He spent months secretly restoring it to perfection. He contacted experts, arranged custom interior work inspired by Hye Kyo's favorite color palette, and even added a tiny personalized detail engraved near the dashboard, something only she would understand when she sees it up close. That level of detail, that level of effort. Viewers, that's a different kind of love. That's intentional. That's emotional. That is not surface-level affection. This is someone who listens, remembers, and acts with purpose. One staff member said that the moment Hye Kyo drove the car a few meters down the street, she laughed like a child seeing fireworks for the first time. A pure, genuine, emotional laugh that made everyone around her feel warm. Lee Min-ho reportedly just stood there smiling, watching her take in the moment, because for him, the whole point wasn't the gift. It was her happiness. Fans noticed that he didn't record her, didn't put her on the spot, didn't draw attention to himself. He simply watched her shine. Lovely viewers, can we talk about how intimate that is? How meaningful? How soft? Because gestures like these aren't about money. They're about love expressed through effort, through memory, through intentionality, through listening to the little things someone says when they don't realize their heart is speaking. After the clip went viral, fans waited for an official statement, but both stars remained silent, which only added more fuel to the fire. The silence felt like confirmation without needing words. Some insiders claim the two later went for a private drive together. No bodyguards, no cameras, just the two of them cruising through quiet streets in a car that now holds an entirely new meaning. Imagine that moment, viewers. Imagine the soft music playing in the background, the cool night breeze drifting through the open windows, and Song Hye Kyo glancing over at Lee Min-ho every few minutes with a smile she can't suppress. Imagine him watching her hands on the steering wheel, proud that he could give her something that touched her heart so deeply. Moments like that aren't bought. They're created through love, energy, understanding, and shared emotion. And of course, fans couldn't help speculating. Was this gift symbolic? Was it a sign of deeper commitment? Was Lee Min-ho sending a message not just to the world, but to Song Hye Kyo herself? Some believe this was his way of saying, "I remember everything about you. Everything that matters." Others think this was a bold romantic gesture marking a new chapter for the two. Whatever the truth is, one thing is clear. This wasn't casual. This wasn't small. This was monumental. By the time fans saw additional images of the vintage car, polished, flawless, gleaming under soft lights, many were convinced this was one of the greatest celebrity gestures of the year. People wrote comments like, "He's operating on husband-level energy. This man is in love. She deserves the world, and he's giving it. This is what romance looks like." And honestly, viewers, who could disagree? You rarely see this kind of sincerity expressed so boldly in the celebrity world. It was like watching a real-life drama unfold, but instead of scripted lines, everything was genuine, heartfelt, and stunningly thoughtful. As of now, fans continue replaying the videos, zooming into every angle, examining every small detail, searching for hidden clues that might reveal something more. Maybe a growing closeness, maybe future plans, maybe a love story quietly unfolding behind the scenes. And although neither star has confirmed anything publicly, their actions speak volumes louder than any statement could. Sometimes silence is the loudest confession. After the videos and photos of the jaw-dropping car reveal spread like wildfire across every social platform, fans expected the story to calm down. But instead, the atmosphere around Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo grew even more charged, almost like the universe itself was hinting that something bigger was brewing beneath the surface. And lovely viewers, the truth is, it was. Those who were close to the scene said that after Song Hye Kyo took the car for that first emotional spin, she didn't just return it to the driveway. She parked it right beside Lee Min-ho, stepped out slowly, and for a moment, she just stared at him. Not with disbelief anymore, but with something much softer, deeper. Something fans who witnessed it described as the look of a woman completely overwhelmed with gratitude and affection. And then, lovely viewers, something happened that no camera fully captured but witnesses couldn't stop talking about. Song Hye Kyo walked straight to Lee Min-ho and hugged him. A long, warm, emotion-heavy hug that didn't feel like two celebrities greeting each other. It felt like two people letting their hearts speak for them. Observers said his hand rested gently on her back, steady, comforting, like he had been waiting for that moment too. But there's more. After that quiet but powerful embrace, the two reportedly walked into the house together, leaving the glowing vintage car behind under the soft lights. And that, viewers, triggered every fan theory imaginable. People debated whether they were celebrating privately, talking about something meaningful, or simply sharing a moment away from the world's eyes. The mystery of what happened behind that door only made the story more magical. And then, hours later, something unexpected happened online. Song Hye Kyo updated her private circle with a subtle, mesmerizing photo, a close-up shot of the vintage car's dashboard. It wasn't a full reveal, nothing that gave away the brand or model, but there was one tiny detail that sent fans spiraling into emotional chaos. Engraved in tiny, elegant script near the wooden interior was a phrase no one expected. "Found for you." Lovely viewers, the internet exploded again. People zoomed in, analyzed the angle, argued whether it was really her post or a fan edit. But those close to her confirmed, it was real. And suddenly, that tiny inscription became the center of the entire romance storm. Because it wasn't just a gift anymore. It wasn't just a car. It was a message that felt intimate, purposeful, personal. And fans wasted no time turning detectives. Some theorized that "found for you" was Lee Min-ho's way of saying he found the car because he remembered her dream. Others argued it hinted at something deeper. Maybe that he found her, the one he wanted to cherish. And then a third group, oh lovely viewers, they insisted it was a clever hint that he intended to find a future with her. The theories were endless, each more romantic than the last. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, more leaks began to emerge. Someone from the restoration team shared anonymously that Lee Min-ho personally visited the garage multiple times during the months of restoration. They said he asked for updates, checked the leather quality himself, and even made sure the final polish matched the warm, classic glow he believed Song Hye Kyo would love. One worker revealed that Lee Min-ho showed them a photo of Song Hye Kyo smiling, just to explain the kind of feeling he wanted the car to evoke. Imagine that level of devotion. Imagine someone working on a gift with the brightness of your smile as their reference point. But buckle up, lovely viewers, because the part that shook fans to their core came from another witness who said that when Lee Min-ho picked up the finished car, he whispered quietly, almost to himself, "She deserves the best." And that line, that simple, heartfelt line, it spiraled across the internet like wildfire. People plastered it on edits, fan art, long emotional threads, and even created short films inspired by the idea that someone loved Song Hye Kyo deeply enough to say those words with sincerity. And while no one confirmed the scene directly, the consistency of the accounts made fans believe every word. Now, after the gift reveal, the hug, the mysterious inscription, and all the behind-the-scenes revelations, fans began asking one big question. What does this mean for Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo? Are they growing closer? Are they already in a quiet relationship? Are they simply two souls bonding naturally? Lovely viewers, whatever the truth is, the energy between them is shifting, and everyone can feel it. Because the day after the car surprise, something even more unexpected occurred. Song Hye Kyo was spotted driving the vintage car again, but this time Lee Min-ho was in the passenger seat. Witnesses said she was smiling brighter than the sun that morning, relaxed, happy, playful. And Lee Min-ho, oh, he looked like a man who was exactly where he wanted to be, right beside her. Some people said they saw him playfully pointing at something on the road, making her laugh. Others said she kept glancing at him as though she couldn't believe he'd done something so meaningful for her. It was the kind of scene that belongs in a drama, but this time it wasn't scripted. It was real life. And that, lovely viewers, is what makes this continuation even more heartwarming. Because sometimes, love doesn't announce itself loudly. Sometimes it reveals itself in gestures. Gestures like restoring a vintage car for someone you care about, remembering their childhood dreams, engraving a message only the two of you truly understand, and sitting beside them while they enjoy what you work so hard to give. Lovely viewers, as we continue following this blossoming story, remember this. We are witnessing something rare, something genuine, something beautifully human. Whether it becomes officially public or remains their private fairy tale, one thing is crystal clear. This moment has already left a mark on both their hearts and on ours. After that beautiful morning drive where Song Hye Kyo took the wheel of the vintage car with Lee Min-ho sitting right beside her, something subtle but incredibly powerful began to unfold. Fans who saw them said there was a new kind of energy surrounding them. Calm, comfortable, almost like two people who had crossed a quiet emotional bridge without even announcing it. And the most heart-melting part. They didn't rush off to separate schedules afterward. Well, it seems they wanted to stretch the moment, savor it, live inside it a little longer. So after their drive, the two reportedly stopped at a small, hidden cafe. One not known to the general public but beloved by locals for its privacy. Witnesses described how they sat by the window, not in disguise, not trying to hide, but simply enjoying each other's presence like two people who had nothing to prove to the world. Lovely viewers, Imagine how gentle that scene must have been. Lee Min-ho leaning slightly forward, listening intently as Hye Kyo talked about the interior of the car. She apparently pointed out a detail she hadn't noticed the day before, a delicate stitching pattern on the seats that matched one of her favorite vintage handbags. And when she mentioned it, he smiled softly and said, "I hoped you'd see that." One witness said she covered her face with her hands for a moment, shy, flustered, overwhelmed in the sweetest way. And the way he looked at her when she lowered her hands. Oh, lovely viewers. People swear his expression was filled with the kind of softness that doesn't need words to explain itself. But here's where things get even more interesting. According to someone who works near that cafe, the two didn't just stay for a quick coffee. They talked for nearly an hour, quietly, warmly, leaning closer whenever one of them lowered their voice. At one point, observers claimed Hye Kyo laughed, a genuine heart-deep laugh, and Lee Min-ho just looked at her with this expression that silently said, "I'd give you 1,000 more reasons to smile like that." And then something subtle but incredibly symbolic happened. When they were leaving the cafe, Hye Kyo reached for the door, and Lee Min-ho gently placed his hand above hers to hold it open. But instead of quickly pulling his hand away, he hesitated for a brief moment. Their hands brushed, just lightly, just long enough for anyone watching to feel a spark shoot straight through them. It wasn't exaggerated. It wasn't staged. It was natural. Real. Fans who caught the moment said they both paused, just for a heartbeat, before stepping out into the sunlight again. Almost like that tiny moment held a whole conversation between them. And the day didn't end there. Instead of parting ways, Hye Kyo invited Lee Min-ho to her place again. This time not for a big reveal, but simply to sit on the balcony, share tea, and enjoy the breeze. Insiders claim they talked about old movies, favorite travel memories, and even stories from their early career days. They laughed over awkward auditions, shared memories of roles that changed them, and reminisced about the moments in life that made them who they are today. Lovely viewers, you know those rare conversations where time moves differently, where hours feel like minutes because the connection is just that natural. That's exactly what people close to them said it felt like. And then came the moment fans truly weren't prepared for. As evening approached, a neighbor, an older woman who has lived on the street for decades, walked past and happened to glance up at the balcony. She later described the sight to someone nearby, and that person leaked it online. According to her, she saw Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho sitting shoulder to shoulder, not hugging, not holding hands, but close enough that their arms touched. Hye Kyo was leaning slightly toward him, smiling softly at something he said. And Lee Min-ho, in the fading light, looked completely at peace. The neighbor said the scene looked like two people on the edge of something beautiful, something blooming. But wait, lovely viewers, there is more. As the sun dipped and painted the sky in warm gold and pink, Lee Min-ho reportedly told her something quietly, something only she heard. She froze for a moment, surprised, then looked at him with an expression so tender that the neighbor said she immediately knew. This wasn't friendship anymore. Something had shifted, something delicate, something powerful. And for the first time since the vintage car reveal, Hye Kyo placed her hand gently on his arm. A simple gesture, but one filled with emotion. It wasn't dramatic, just honest. Like she was letting him know she felt whatever he said, that she acknowledged it, that she cherished it. After that, the two continued talking until the sky grew darker. Comfortable silence mixing with soft laughter, the kind of moment people remember for years. Lovely viewers, the world hasn't seen an official statement yet, but honestly, do we even need one? These moments speak louder than any press release ever could. A rare vintage car, a heartfelt message, shared drive, cafe date, soft touch, quiet sunset on a balcony. Two hearts drifting closer, naturally, softly, inevitably.